To come.
Mathis Funeral Home of Dexter and Bernie strives to provide their community with the accommodations and services needed to relieve your family during times of loss. For more information, give them a call and see how Mathis Funeral Home can help meet your expectations in celebrating your loved ones.
At Focus Bank, we understand your community because it's our community too. With branches across Southeast Missouri and Northeast Arkansas, Focus Bank offers services such as fraud protection, really free checking, and mobile banking that lets you bank simply and securely, anytime, anywhere. Stop by any of our branches or visit us online to open an account today. Plus, you'll receive an awesome free gift just from opening your really free checking account. And when you refer someone who opens an account, you'll both receive a gift. Focus Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Do you need personalized merchandise? Trying to celebrate the season of that big state run? Then Juju Promotions in New Madrid has you covered. Whether it's heat presses, screen printing, or embroidery, we always have an option that will leave you satisfied and looking your best. With seasonal styles and plenty of accessories, there's something here for everyone. So come in and shop around. You'll be welcome with a smile and leave more fashionable than ever. Call us at 573-748-4040 or visit us in New Madrid.
At Young Real Estate, we understand the importance of face-to-face interactions. Our experienced agents are here to listen to your needs and personalize your home buying or selling experience. But we also recognize the power of technology. Young Real Estate offers virtual showings, allowing you to explore properties from the comfort of your own home. Young Real Estate, where technology meets a personal touch. Your dreams, our expertise. Contact us today and let's make your dream home a reality.
At SEMO Health Network, we strive to provide caring and affordable health care while making our patients feel welcome in our warm and friendly atmosphere. With locations throughout Southeast Missouri, we provide medical, dental, OB, and behavioral health services to anyone and everyone that may need it. Visit SEMO Health Network for your wellness exams, COVID and flu vaccinations, lab services, dental exams, counseling, and more. For more information, visit our website and let SEMO Health Network take care of you.
Welcome to First State Community Bank, where the community is at the heart of everything we do. At FSCB, we're your trusted neighbors, committed to strengthening the connections that make our town thrive. You get more face time with our dedicated team to understand your unique needs and help guide you to financial success. We also provide the latest technology, so you can enjoy the convenience without compromising the personalized touch. Experience our hometown advantage with modern conveniences. Visit us at fscb.com.
In football, every play starts with one goal: protect the ball. It takes strength, teamwork, and focus to keep it safe. At First State Bank and Trust, we protect what you worked hard for, your finances. With us, you'll have a team that's always alert, keeping your money safe from every angle, through every challenge. We're here to protect your finances, because at First State Bank and Trust, your financial security is our game plan. First State Bank and Trust. Strong, secure, trusted. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Please pass the hot sauce. No, none of that watered down ketchup. Give me the heat.
At Southern Bank, we're never not helpful.
Next stop, Spicy City.
Helping spicy grandmas and everybody else.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us be a part of your family and for trusting us with the ones you love the most. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of those lifelong memories. Thank you for taking us on the job and for putting us to work. Thank you for choosing us for your first vehicle and for every vehicle after. Thank you for trusting us for 70 years.
My name is Kevin Rossville. I'm a farmer from Prairie County, Arkansas. Been farming since 1991. Started farming with my father-in-law when I got married. We've been raising rice ever since. We've all been looking for something for a change for years. And I think this 263L is going to be the next and up and coming thing for us. It's really going to work well on a lot of different ground and a lot of different farms around here.
Dynagro 263L, available exclusively at Nutrient Ag Solutions. Agriculture is not a fad, and it's not for the faint of heart. Long days become long nights, sacrificing time away from your family, even on weekends, just so you can get the crop in and get the crop out. This is your way of life. At Farm Credit Southeast Missouri, we are 100% bought into your commitment. Because we are customer-owned, it is our mission to be your ag lender, and we intend to be your value-added partner for next year and the long term.
Your ag lender will always be there.
We do things the right way, we do it honestly, and we do it well. We go to trial with confidence that in Southeast Missouri, when we work hard and we do a good job of presenting the case to the jury like we know we can do, justice will be done and the client will be taken care of. If you need someone to represent you at trial, call Cook Parkett Ponder & Walsh.
NextEra Energy Resources is the world's largest generator of renewable energy from the wind and sun, and a world leader in energy storage. Since 2016, NextEra Energy Resources has invested more than $339 million in Missouri to fuel local economic growth. Today, our company owns and operates one wind energy facility in the state and is looking to invest even more in the Show Me State. We are committed to being a trusted community partner and look forward to providing affordable, clean, renewable energy for generations of Missourians to come.
Mathis Funeral Home of Dexter and Bernie strives to provide their community with the accommodations and services needed to relieve your family during times of loss. For more information, give them a call and see how Mathis Funeral Home can help meet your expectations in celebrating your loved ones.
At Focus Bank, we understand your community because it's our community too. With branches across Southeast Missouri and Northeast Arkansas, Focus Bank offers services such as fraud protection, really free checking, and mobile banking that lets you bank simply and securely, anytime, anywhere. Stop by any of our branches or visit us online to open an account today. Plus, you'll receive an awesome free gift just from opening your really free checking account. And when you refer someone who opens an account, you'll both receive a gift. Focus Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Good evening and welcome to Aycorp Sports coverage of boys high school volleyball. We're coming to you from the campus of Notre Dame Regional High School just west of Cape Girardeau as the Bulldogs prepare to take on the Dragons of St. Mary's Southside Catholic School in St. Louis, Missouri. Alongside my broadcast partner, Coach Carl Ritter, I'm Philip Britt. Coach, welcome back to the broadcast booth for boys volleyball.
Thanks, Phillips. I'm excited to be back for another season of boys volleyball here on Aycorp Sports. This is the second season for the Missouri State High School Activities Association sanctioned boys volleyball here in the state, and the game has been part of high school sports, though, since the mid-1990s before Mich had sanctioned the sport 2 years ago. In fact, this St. Mary's program has some impressive, successful years over the past. They have won 17 district titles. They've had 5 state championships. And of course, again, that was before Misha awarded an official state championship. But Notre Dame comes in with a record of 16-8, including a 3-1 weekend from this past weekend at the Lutheran St. Charles tournament. The Dragons come in with a record of 6-16, including a loss to this Notre Dame team a week ago, or in week 1 of the season.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame went up to St. Mary's early on that first week and came away with a 3-1 victory. And that was early on. I think this team has come together. Both of these are young teams, Coach. It looks like each one of them have some freshmen that may play. Certainly Notre Dame has a lot of sophomores and juniors, only one senior on the squad. So it's going to be interesting to see how they've kind of matured as the season's gone on, which team has matured more.
Exactly. You're right there. Notre Dame is sophomore heavy, so those kids have got nothing but improvement, and especially from the beginning of the season to now. So it'll be anxious to see exactly how they put it together coming toward the end of the season. Absolutely.
We saw a lot that the girls team has a lot of strong sophomores and freshmen, so it's interesting to see this Notre Dame athletic program has a lot of good quality young kids, so their future's pretty bright right now as far as their athletics go.
Absolutely. I'm very familiar with some of those girls because they play on our NSSC volleyball club that's getting ready to compete at the Donabear Regional Tournament this coming weekend for a bid to the national tournament.
Good. Well, good luck to them. I know some of these young men on the Notre Dame team play for your boys club, and so as we progress through, we'll go ahead and we'll give you a chance to kind of share some of the information about those young men and about your clubs as we go. We're going to kind of see what our plan is, if we're going to do starting lineups or before we get started. I guess we're just going to get started. So, all right. So for the St. Mary's Southside Catholic Dragons, our starters are number 1, Leo Yanizige. The coach told me how to say that, and I'm still going to mess it up all night, I'm sure. I apologize, Leo. Number 2, Tavion Reed. Number 3, Chris Malamas. Number 5, Ashton Lee. Number 6, Paul Swang. And number 10, Mike Shaw. And number 11, Caden Roan. So those will be our starters for the Southside Dragons. Let's see who Notre Dame starters are as they take the floor here in a moment. We'll know who their starters are, and we'll give you those numbers as we know. So again, this is the second year of Misha-sanctioned boys volleyball. There are only 2 teams in the Southeast Missouri region that play boys volleyball, and that's Notre Dame and Saxony Lutheran. And we will cover both of those teams. In fact, we'll cover both of those teams tomorrow night. They'll both be playing Lutheran St. Charles tomorrow night at Saxony. So we'll be able to talk more about that as we go.
And what I want to mention, too, mention there's only 2 teams in Southeast Missouri, but, we've got some exciting news that Cape Girardeau is going to be hosting the boys state championships this coming month here in May.
Absolutely.
So that's a huge plug for the Show Me Center and Southeast Missouri to maybe help encourage more schools down this way to maybe begin and start that boys volleyball program. But that's a big accomplishment for us to obtain that national that state championship.
Absolutely. We are and we at Aycorp Sports are going to be a part of that. So we're proud to be a part of that.
That's awesome.
So that was Paul Song with the first serve, and that was in the net.
Number 11.
That's Caden Roan. Caden Roan was in the net that time for St. Mary's. So back to serve will be Alex Wagner. He's a sophomore for the Notre Dame Bulldogs. Nice pickup by Malamas. He's the libero. You can't use your feet, but he kicked it a little bit too hard and out of bounds. Some folks don't know that you can use any part of your body just as long as it only hits once. So Nie Nzigwe is with that serve. Oh, nice hit out of the middle. That was one of those passes back over that got a little too far, an overpass, and Dylan Rubel was waiting for it. Another sophomore for the Bulldogs. Back to serve is Lauren Burford. Soft short serve picked up nicely by the libero. And return was out. Point for the Dragons. So Roan back to serve and serves it low. Substitutes. The libero number 3 Malamas is back in for Roan. And Adam McNeil in for the first time for the Dragons. Set to the outside, to the right side, or the outside to number 5, Ashton Lee, and he hit that off the block and out. Good use of the block that time.
Yeah, Ashton's just a freshman.
He is. A couple of freshmen starting on this St. Mary's team. Tavion Reed back to serve, hits a little short, catches the tape, falls down for a point for Notre Dame. Back and forth so far here early on. No one's able to string some points together yet. Dodson back to serve that time for the Bulldogs. Back set. Off. Little short set in the middle, tipped. Picked up nicely by the Bulldogs. And Alex Wagner with a solid hit that time. Tipped and out, but a solid hit. So it's 5-3 now, Bulldogs. Number 2, Joseph Dodson back to serve for the Bulldogs. Nice floater, a little short. Picked up nicely. Set to Wagner again, picked up that time by Neo. Short set to Drew Doobie that time. Off the block and out of bounds, good play. Good attempt that time by the St. Mary's Dragons, but couldn't get it back across.
Double contact on that second hit.
Okay. So that's that's going to be a new rule at some point. I thought it was already the new rule for boys this year, but I guess it's going to be for the next school year maybe.
I don't think Missouri's actually, I don't think they've actually adopted that rule yet on the 2 contacts, but it's coming.
Yep, it's the approved by the National High School rules folks, and so we'll talk a little more about that as we go. Good tip, good pickup that time by Malamas, but not able to get it back over. So the rule currently is on a set, second hit, you can only make single contact. You can hit with both hands with single contact. You have to hit simultaneously with both hands. And the new rule will be that won't be a penalty. Is that right, Coach?
That will be the rule, unless the ball is taken over the net.
So if it's hit after that second hit by someone on your side, then it's not a penalty, not a violation. But
correct.
If it's set over the net, then it's still a violation. Oh, hit the top of the net and down. Joseph Dodson with the serve. 11-3 now. He's been on a roll. Been serving for a while. I think that's maybe his 5th straight point to serve. And he's serving all over the court. He's not just serving to one person, so he's been very successful moving the ball around. Good try there by Tavion Reed, but he hit it into the net. And it was down for another point for the Bulldogs. Outside that time to Ashton Lee, hit hard, nice pickup, but not able to be handled by the Bulldogs. So Lee's back to serve for for the Dragons, they broke that streak. That was quite a streak going there. So I had just mentioned that no one had been able to put in together very many points, and then suddenly they could. Nice block that time, double block up by DeBrock and Doobie. Doobie back to serve now for the Bulldogs. Picked up by Lee. Set outside to Neo. Outside again, picked up. Yeah, I think he crossed over the line. Number 12 that time. Jackson DeBrock with the violation, crossing the line.
Yeah, that ball was set a little too far out and too tight the net. He did everything he could to try to hold on to it.
He did. And out. Alex Wagner again. No tip, just out. Shaw with the serve for the Dragons. Nice hit that time by Lauren Burford. I think he's the leading hitter on this team for the Bulldogs this year as a sophomore. Coach's son, I believe. Probably been around this game a lot. Nice tip that time by Paul Swang, the setter. He's a good job. He gets to most, everything that's hit close to him, he gets to and gets the setup. And he's back to serve, hits it long and out. 15-7 now in favor of the Bulldogs. That was a really high toss. He had to really time that ball perfectly, and he hit it a little high. Hit backside, right side to Neo, and out. 16-7 now for the favor of the Bulldogs. Alex Wagner back to serve again. Back set to Neo, and a big block up that time.
Rubel with the block.
Rubel out of the middle. Another sophomore. A name we hadn't called yet, Dylan Rubel. But that was a big block. You're right. This is a team heavily loaded with sophomores. They're almost every one of the players names we've called almost have been sophomores. Nice play that time again. Rubel on the front, in the middle. Neither of these teams exceptionally tall. There's some tall, lanky kids, but neither of them have, last year Saxony had the kid that was 6'7", and he really dominated the middle because he was able to get up over other people, and neither of these teams have anybody like that that's just exceptionally tall. But they're young too, so these young men still may grow some. Off the hands of the libero, Malamas, and out of bounds. Another point, 19-8 now in favor of Notre Dame. Burford back to serve. Soft serve, little floater. Set to the middle. Good block again. Picked up, tipped over by Roan. Oh, hit hard that time by Doobie and out of bounds, off the hands, out of bounds. 28. Coach, we talk a lot about that race to 20, and I think Notre Dame has won that, and
they've definitely mastered the 20.
In good shape, and at this point in this game with a 12-point lead, only 5 more points to the game. Nice job that time by Ashton Lee, the freshman.
We had a net violation on Notre Dame on that play, though. So either way,
it was going to be their point. So.
Absolutely.
Roan again, this time hits it into the bottom of the net. And the libero back in for him, Malamas. Here's Rubel back to serve and he hits it into the net. So gave one right back. And just like St. Mary's, Notre Dame replaces that front row player with a libero across the back. Tavion Reed with the serve. Good strong hit that time by Doobie out of the middle. Not much that the defense just wasn't quite in position to make that play. He was a little indecisive. He wasn't sure whether that was going to be in or not, and I think it had some pretty good movement on it, looked like.
It did. Very aggressive serve.
Dodson, and this time he hits it a little bit too much, got a little high and hit it long. So worked once, second time not so good. 23-11. Lee with the serve, picked up nicely. And I wasn't sure if that came over or not. I guess it did.
I guess it did. I didn't see the touch, but there again, we don't have the angle that the official has. So.
Now our camera does, and I wasn't looking at our camera feeds.
I was watching the live feed, so.
But that's the point.
Yeah.
Notre Dame finishes off set number 1, 25-11. We'll be back in just a moment. We're going to take a break, pay some bills, and we'll be back to talk about set number 1.
Please pass the hot sauce. No, none of that watered down ketchup. Give me the heat.
At Southern Bank, we're never not helpful.
Next stop,
Spicy City. Helping spicy grandmas and everybody else.
We do things the right way, we do it honestly, and we do it well. We go to trial with confidence that in Southeast Missouri, when we work hard and we do a good job of presenting the case to the jury like we know we can do, justice will be done and the client will be taken care of. If you need someone to represent you at trial, call Cook Barquette Ponder & Walls.
At Young Real Estate, we understand the importance of face-to-face interactions. Our experienced agents are here to listen to your needs and personalize your home buying or selling experience. But we also recognize the power of technology. Young Real Estate offers virtual showings, allowing you to explore properties from the comfort of your own home. Young Real Estate, where technology meets a personal touch. Your dreams, our expertise. Contact us today and let's make your dream home a reality.
Welcome back to Notre Dame Regional High School in Cape Girardeau, where the Notre Dame Bulldogs pulled off the first set victory over the St. Mary's Southside Dragons, 25-11. Coach, what'd you see in that first set that for each team?
Well, Notre Dame's passing the ball well, serving well, and they're just dominating at the net. They're blocked. They had some good blocks. Southside, they just seem to be a little bit more inexperienced, I guess you could say. They're a little bit more laid back on the court right now. It could be partially they got a couple freshmen out there, and they could feel a little intimidation. I know Notre Dame has, mainly sophomores, but they've done it. They did a good job attacking the ball and hitting the ball hard. If you look at how the difference in the velocity of the ball from both teams, right. Notre Dame's definitely got a lot more velocity behind the ball than what Southside's hitting at them. So
They do.
If Southside pick up their offense and start hitting the ball harder, we could see something change a little bit.
Right. So remember the first match they played was 3-1. So Southside was able to win a set against Notre Dame early in the season. So we'll see if they can come back and even this up, or and see what the results are going to be. So Notre Dame has the serve. Jackson DeBrock with he's the only senior on the team with the serve, and a big block again. Caden Roan blocked by the double block in the front row for Notre Dame. DeBrock back to serve again. Cross court, he caught that one a little bit, back row.
That was a little low there on that little prolonged contact on their first contact. So
yeah, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, I have to agree with
a
Corey
step
on that
back,
call.
he could have picked it up probably, but just kind of that in between. It's hard to know where to go with that ball. So that young man is pretty solid. He's not very tall, but I like the way he plays.
Jumps well.
He does. And I apologize that I can't say his name. Neo Nigiziwe. Nizigiwe. That's it. Close. And a long serve again for the setter, Paul Swang. So 3-1 Notre Dame, starting off quickly here in set number 2. 14, Alex Wagner with the short set, clipped the net and down. Not much you can do about that on defense. That's hard to cover that. Because if you expect it, then it's going to blow it right by you. But a short set, another short set. Rowan just kind of tipped at that one, then down. Wagner back to serve again for the Bulldogs. Up 5-1. In between again, that time that slipped right through the hands of Chris Malamas, the libero. They're really pulled up tight on defense. I mean, they're given almost half the court behind them. But I guess that Notre Dame has hit a lot of sets, or a lot of serves into the front part of the court, a lot of short serves, so they kind of pulled up on them. Good serve that time by Neo Nizigiwe.
Yeah,
Nice.
you were talking about them pulling up short in the court. As a coach, when I coach boys, I like for my boys to pull up tight.
Okay.
Because boys have got stronger hands, and on that first contact, I really, really want my boys to take the ball with their hands instead of the forearm pass. They have better control.
Gotcha. Makes sense. So that's the strategy.
That is the strategy, pulling up tight, using your hands to take the first ball. Because as you know, in the first contact, there's not a double contact
Right.
on the first contact.
Exactly.
So it can be ugly as long as it doesn't rest with you like it did on the gentleman earlier today.
Oh, off the block and out of bounds. Good hit that time by Lauren Burford using the block. And then Burford's back to serve now. 7-4, Notre Dame with the lead. Soft short serve. Back set. Not sure if that was going to be out or not, but he picked it up. Double contact that time on the push over the net by Adam McNeil.
And that's what we're talking about. If the new rule comes into play, that's something that that would be the call.
I would say that the one, we talked about the fact that before we went on the air, the fact that, that doesn't really help a setter because a good set comes off clean, and you don't want it a double hit. But it might help that, that out-of-system set.
Exactly.
Which is not your normal setter that oftentimes gets called for that double contact, even though they're doing their best to get the ball to where it needs to be.
Absolutely. And, at the end of the day, actually, Philip, the teams, how do they gain an advantage by double contact that stays on their side? They really do not gain an advantage.
Right. Oh, I agree. I don't think that, because, you know, the perfect set is not going to be one that's not simultaneously contacted. It's just
exactly.
not. Exactly. Because it can't be controlled as well.
Exactly. So I think, I think if they move to that, I think it's a good move. Just the fact that it eliminates a lot of second guessing on the officials' part.
Right. Because it is really a judgment call when it comes right down to it. I mean, it's your eye seeing whether or not that contact was, whether the ball comes out spinning a certain way, or, and the inconsistency from one game to the next, depending on who your referees are, as to whether that gets called or not.
Absolutely. And then also the angle of the ball,
Sure.
from where you stand compared to somebody else will see it differently.
Right. Oh, there you go. Neo with a hit and off hands and out of bounds. So 10-7.
We got a little bit tighter second
A little
set
tighter
here.
so far. Let's see if St. Mary's can put a few points together and catch up. Big strong hit that time by Doobie. He's impressed me. He's been pretty solid in that hitting tonight.
Yeah, he's got a good quick arm swing and jumps well.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little undersized when he gets against the bigger guys.
That's true.
It's the only thing.
That's exactly right. Big block, but blocked out of bounds.
Like you were saying earlier, Notre Dame's got a lot of athletic boys out there and great players. And it's just that if they could be another 3 and 4 inches on them, with the way they jump,
that's right,
they would be even that much more dominating.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's something, you can't, as they say in basketball, you can't teach 6'7".
No, you can't. And every coach is like to see a 6'7", 6'8" walk in the door.
Absolutely right.
But at the end of the day, with these boys here, though, they do a good job. They're athletic and they jump well. And I know from a coaching standpoint and a spectator standpoint, nothing's more impressive. You can see a smaller kid get up and get off the floor 40 or 50 inches, whatever their vertical may be, and just knock the ball on the floor. That's more impressive than watching a 6'7" do it.
That's true. That's true. So 13-8 now. Notre Dame's cushioned their lead just a little bit. Back set. It was DeBrock with the hit that time. Picked up nicely that time by St. Mary's. Quick set in the middle there for Burford again, and solid hit out of the middle.
Notre Dame's beginning to pull away a little bit.
They are 14-8, 6-point lead. Doobie with the serve for Notre Dame. Good placement that time by Neo.
Yeah, he was aiming for that left back corner, and it works. Those are the things that we work on in our club. Is when you can't have that perfect set, ball placement in the right places on the court.
Absolutely. Sometimes it's not about pace, it's placement. You're absolutely right.
Absolutely. That's what we tell our kids all the time. You can feel it when it's good, swing, and when you don't know it's just quite right there, take a little off of it, use your ball control, and put it in those deep corners.
That's right. Another point, number 6, the setter swing was in the net that time for St. Mary's. DeBrock with the serve, tipped the net, but Roan with the tip just missed that one, mistimed it just a little bit, and wasn't able to connect. DeBrock, the senior, back to serve again. Again, the only senior on Notre Dame's squad. And down.
Yeah, DeBrock is one of our NSSC boys. He's a great player and has done a great job for us over the years. And we want to wish him the best as he moves on to college and whatever he chooses to do in his career. So, great kid.
So we've mentioned that there's Swung with the finally gets a serve in. He's been a little frustrated with himself. He hit a couple that he hit well, but they were just struck high and they went long. And he's taking a little bit off that toss. He was tossing it really high, and his timing was just off. So he went away from that jump serve and got two nice serves in. Pick up that time. Nice smart play there by Tavion Reed. Smart play.
Yeah, it was a good dig by number 5 there with Ashton Lee. Being a freshman like that, you can tell him he's looking at his arm. Like he felt that one.
He felt it, absolutely. That was hit hard.
You know, it was hit hard, but he did a great job bringing that ball up. It was hit hard.
Set over. Back set. And the hitter was in the net that time, so.
Net violation on the swing.
Yep. Got to stay out of the net. Back to 16-13 now.
Yeah, they're making a comeback here.
Mary with a comeback. On the back of Paul Swung, he's gotten his serves in and has been very effective with his serve. Mistimed that one.
He's serving a lot more aggressively, if you notice. And,
yes.
And therefore, Notre Dame's having a little bit more difficulty getting that pass where they want it to, where they can run that effective offense.
Set to the outside. Oh, nice set to the very back corner. It's hard to cover that back corner.
Yeah, and
Joseph Dodson saw it and put that ball right in it. So Wagner back to serve for the Bulldogs. Tough receive, but picked up. Set to the outside again, this time to Reed. First pass was really close to the net for Dodson to try to pick up. A good hit that time by Burford. Wagner back to serve again, 18-14 now. As you said, a much tighter match than the first one was. Once Notre Dame got a little ahead, there's Neo using the block and tipping it just enough because he knew that block was up and he was going to have a hard time hitting through it. But he was smart, saw it, and used it. And Notre Dame didn't cover it really well. Hit to the back corner and down. Burford again. A smart play there. Coach, you were talking about the fact that, you have a boys club teams and, we only have 2 high school teams that play, but do you have boys from other high schools around that play on your club teams?
Yeah, my boys team, I have 2 boys from Dexter, boys from Poplar Bluff. I have boys from Portageville. So there are a lot that are Jackson. I have Jackson boys. So there are a lot of boys wanting to play the game that doesn't have the opportunity in their school, but they like to play on the club level, which, there again, I'm glad that we're able to give them the opportunity. And in fact, the 2 of them, the boy from Dexter, Cooper Worley, and then the boy from Poplar Bluff, they're both going to Trey Neville from Poplar Bluff. They've signed to go to play at the NAI powerhouse Missouri Baptist.
Oh, wow.
Who is right now currently at the national tournament.
Well, that's great for them. Great opportunity for them.
Yeah, and actually their libero is a past club member of NSSE, and he's from Oak Ridge, who never had high school volleyball.
Right.
And he's their starting libero, and they're at the national tournament.
That's great. You guys have given them an opportunity to play. I would have loved to have been able to play when I was in high school.
Yeah.
I loved the game and would have loved to have been able to have an opportunity to play. Nice tip there by Adam McNeil. And McNeil goes up and over that time and wins the battle at the net.
So it's good to see kids get opportunities, you know.
Absolutely.
And I'm grateful and thankful that Notre Dame and Saxon Lutheran has felt the need to add boys volleyball to their program to give these boys opportunities. That says a lot about their schools, and hopefully we'll see more of that come along, you know, here in the future. And speaking of that, you're from Clarkton. I have some boys from Clarkton in our club as well.
Good.
So,
absolutely. Well, that's good. That's you know, maybe some of those smaller schools could get together and come up with enough kids to play. You know, they do those cooperative at this point. That some of the smaller schools might have an opportunity to do that.
Exactly, and I actually, the superintendent of Clarkton Schools, her son plays for our club, and him and another boy from Clarkton played, and then we have three boys from Portageville playing. I told her, I said, you need to co-op with Portageville. You guys are right there together, and you know,
absolutely.
It would have been nice if they could have done that this season for them kids.
Well, it's 22-18. That ball's out, no touch. 22-19.
Yeah, Southside's just not going away.
They're not, absolutely not. They're staying close, and they've got Ashton Lee back to serve for them, the freshman that we've been pretty impressed with on the front row, and he put that ball in.
Serving very aggressively, and it paid off.
Burford clearly thought that ball was going to be long, and it dropped right in the court. Lee back to serve again. DeBrock is blocked that time, but it went out of, I guess it came down on
Southside.
On Southside side of the court.
Notre Dame needs 2 points here to close this second set.
And what a way one of them.
What a way to get that point, you know.
Oh.
I told somebody, I said, if I could train our kids to hit the top of that tape and let it roll every time, we would do it.
Right. I mean, it's good to serve it low and close, but boy, it's not much you can do on the defensive side when that happens. Nice block, picked up. Goes back up. He got up quicker that time.
Yes, he did.
He beat the block up and put that ball down. Nice job by Neo Nzigwe.
All Notre Dame needs to do here is get a good pass inside out and close out this second set.
Yeah, or let it. Oh, got to make the play. Nice serve that time by Michael Shaw. Put that ball right in the back corner.
Yeah, I feel like Notre Dame has kind of laid down their level of intensity this second set, winning that first set as badly as they did.
It hasn't been the same. Their hits haven't been as aggressive, and no touch on the Notre Dame side, so that ball was blocked out of bounds. So that's the set. That's set number 2. So Notre Dame now leads this match 2-0. A little bit different set there, set number 2. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back here on Aycorp Sports with set number 3.
At Focus Bank, we understand your community because it's our community too. With branches across Southeast Missouri and Northeast Arkansas, Focus Bank offers services such as fraud protection, really free checking, and mobile banking that lets you bank simply and securely, anytime, anywhere. Stop by any of our branches or visit us online to open an account today. Plus, you'll receive an awesome free gift just from opening your really free checking account. And when you refer someone who opens an account, you'll both receive a gift. Focus Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Do you need personalized merchandise? Trying to celebrate the season of that big state run? Then Juju Promotions in New Madrid has you covered. Whether it's heat presses, screen printing, or embroidery, we always have an option that will leave you satisfied and looking your best. With seasonal styles and plenty of accessories, there's something here for everyone. So come in and shop around. You'll be welcome with a smile and leave more fashionable than ever. Call us at 573-748-4040 or visit us in New Madrid.
Mathis Funeral Home of Dexter and Bernie strives to provide their community with the accommodations and services needed to relieve your family during times of loss. For more information, give them a call and see how Mathis Funeral Home can help meet your expectations in celebrating your loved ones.
Welcome back to Notre Dame Regional High School. The Notre Dame Bulldogs boys volleyball is, won the first 2 sets 2-0 against the Dragons from St. Mary's Southside out of St. Louis. The coach, we were talking during the break before we get into that last set, talk about that last set. We were talking during the break. We will be back tomorrow night for 2 games. We'll have 2 matches tomorrow night because of Notre Dame had scheduled to play the Lutheran St. Charles team last night here at Notre Dame, and then Saxony Lutheran was going to play them tomorrow night, and Lutheran St. Charles says, hey, why don't we just come down once and we'll play both of you? And so tomorrow night we'll have Notre Dame against Lutheran St. Charles around 5 o'clock start time, and then Saxony Lutheran against Lutheran St. Charles approximately 7 o'clock. So excited about having that opportunity. Coach, what did you see in that second set from St. Mary's that was different than set number 1?
Well, it was obvious St. Mary's was serving a lot more aggressively. Their intensity level picked up a little bit, which I think when they started serving aggressively and they scored some points off their serving, that gave them a little bit more of a push. I felt like Notre Dame kind of laid back a little bit after they went in that first set like they did, and kind of laid back on their heels a little bit, kind of, getting a little complacent, and allowed that second set to be much closer than it probably should have been.
Yeah.
But again, here we start out Notre Dame with a 1-0 lead. So
Alex Wagner came out pretty aggressive on that first hit. Well, there's something we have not seen. That's Caden Roan with jumping up and actually hitting the ball down. Coach was talking to him during the break, and I think he saw something. He said, you've got to just tip that ball to the side, and he went out there and did it. So.
Yeah.
Oh, right into the top of the net with the serve. Substitution. Sam McNeil back into the game for the Dragons. Burford back to serve for the Bulldogs. A little attempt to tip it over by Rubel, and he hit it out of bounds. So another point for the Dragons. It's 2-2, and we're not sure who's serving. Okay, there we go. Caden Roan back to serve. Caden just got his first kill of the night, so let's see if he can parlay that into a nice serve. He does. He gets that serve in, and a hard swing by Doobie, but long and out. So Roan's going to come back for another serve with the Dragons up 3-2. First lead of the night for the Dragons, I believe. Nice tip, but picked up. And then Rubel says, well, let's just go ahead and hit it then instead of tipping it and put it down. And now Dylan Rubel's back to serve for the Bulldogs. And that's hit. Overpassed, but Doobie was up and hit that ball just too hard. His eyes got too big and he was too excited about it. Got a little over anxious, I think. Tavion Reed back to serve for the Dragons, up 4-2. Nice serve. Out of system for the Bulldogs. Hasn't happened too many times for them tonight. And then a strong hit and out. Close.
He was trying to go line. He went too wide.
Yep, just a little bit too wide. The line judge was looking at it all the way, and Notre Dame gives a point back, so it's 5-3 now. Ashton Lee back to serve for the Dragons. Nice little short serve that time. Oh, nice tip by Wagner. Didn't go up and hit that one, just saw the open spot and tipped it to it.
Well, the ball was set really tight, and
not much he could do with it.
There was not much he could do with it. That was probably a good move on his part.
I think he hit it with his offhand too, so call a lift on that. So 6-5 now. Notre Dame has taken the lead. Doobie with the serve. Picked up, tipped over. Free ball, but it surprised somebody, I think, and I think it weren't able to get it back up. So, point for the Dragons, tied it up again, 6-6. Michael Shaw with the serve, but serves it long and out. Point for the Bulldogs. The libero, Joseph Schwindeman, back to serve for the, big block that time. Dylan Rubel and Alex Wagner together, the big block. So Schwindeman back to serve again for the Bulldogs. And Schwindeman with the set, just tip to the back. Burford with a smart play that time, finding an open spot. Again, placement sometimes when you can't really swing full through, you gotta find a spot.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I tell our kids all the time. It doesn't always have to be hard.
That's right. Sounds better and looks more impressive when it is, but still counts as a point. Nice hit that time by Burford. Ashton Lee feeling that one again, but he's not afraid to get in front of it, so you got to give him credit for putting, sacrificing his body on some of those hard hits. He's got good hands too on the in the back row back there. He handles the ball well. Back row. Mistimed his jump just a little bit. Not a bad idea.
No. Well, we have a timeout here by Southside with Notre Dame leading 11-6.
But we'll take a quick break. We'll be back in 30 seconds here on Aycorp Sports.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us be a part of your family and for trusting us with the ones you love the most. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of those lifelong memories. Thank you for taking us on the job and for putting us to work. Thank you for choosing us for your first vehicle and for every vehicle after. Thank you for trusting us for 70 years.
Welcome back to Notre Dame, where the Bulldogs lead 11-6 in set number 3, having won the first 2 sets against St. Mary's Southside, the Dragons from St. Louis. Coach, what are you seeing in this set? Looks like Notre Dame may have gotten their energy back.
Yeah, they picked it up, the intensity level a little bit better, and they're beginning to swing and putting Southside on the defensive end, and it's kind of taking the sail out of Southside here in this third set.
Because they had a lead at 6-5, and now it's 11-6. So 6 straight points for the Bulldogs. Roan with a pretty solid hit that time. And the block down off the block and down on St. Mary's side of the net. They're not penetrating the net at all on that block. They're lucky. They're just right on the net. So it wasn't much. They got the block up, but they weren't close enough to the net. The difference is, as you see, is that Notre Dame does do that, and their block's much more effective. But you got to cover the block, and you got to be ready for the ball when it comes back over.
Yeah, personally, knowing the game, I've been around it all my life, I'd really like to see both teams run a faster offense because it would be, I think the offense could be ran faster by both teams. Notre Dame definitely has athleticism to do it.
Right.
And sometimes you play, if your team that you're playing doesn't run a fast offense, you're more prone not to.
Slows you down too, yeah.
But I personally, as a coach, I want my kids running as fast of an offense as I can get them to run at the net.
And Coach, that's what we usually see in boys volleyball. We see a much faster offense than a lot of times what we see on the girls' side.
The boys jump well. They just need to go ahead and go jump, get up in the air, and let that setter put that ball in their hand. And it's so enjoyable to watch, but you got to have great athleticism to be able to do it.
And you got to have that connection between your setter and your hitter. The hitter, setter's got to get that ball where it needs to be a lot quicker.
Eye-hand coordination. There's a lot to it. The game requires a lot of athleticism.
A good swing that time from Adam McNeil for the Dragons, but picked up nicely by the Bulldogs. And off the block that time. That was Rubel hitting that ball off the block, in the middle, off the block and out of bounds.
Notre Dame stretched that lead 15-8.
Yep.
Well on their way to that 20th point.
That's right. Burford back for the to serve for the Bulldogs. Quick set in the middle. Still slow developing, even when you do a quick set in the middle. So I see, you see what you're saying there, Coach. Burford back at 16-8. Well, that serve, that's kind of a change of pace. You get the guy ahead of him hit the ball served really hard, and then he comes in with that kind of change up, floats that ball over, and it's difficult to handle for the Dragons. They're expecting it to come a lot harder. It's kind of almost a knuckleball. You see that time, not much spin on the ball at all. Set to the outside. Doobie with a swing again.
Notre Dame stretching that lead to a 10-point lead, so I'd say they're in pretty good shape to take this third set unless something drastically changes here in the next couple points.
I agree. Doobie back to serve, or Burford back to serve for the Bulldogs again. Picked up, set to the outside, and hit long by Ashton Lee. Ashton Lee can be a really good ball player by the time he's a senior. He's just a freshman, as we mentioned, and he's got some real talent, some really soft hands. Swings hard when he gets the opportunity. Just like that, off the block and out of bounds. So he'll have another year to play with this setter. He'll be back next year. He's just a junior, so it'll be interesting to see how this team progresses. We mentioned how they've got quite a few freshmen on the team. Ball looked like that was headed out, but Burford played it and played it into the stands. 19-10. Roan back to serve again. Strong hit that time by Doobie off the block and out of bounds. Or off the block and down, actually. Rubel back to serve at 20-10. 10-point lead for the Bulldogs here in set number 3 after they've won the first 2 sets of this best 3 out of 5 match. Good block that time up by Michael Shaw. Swing and a miss that time by the libero for St. Mary Southside. It's kind of in between the two of them, and there was a little bit of lack of communication, I think, there on the back row. Yeah, that ball was definitely going to be in. He looked back like, was that going to be out? But it was not. It was certainly going to be in. Rubel back to serve again, and into the net that time. Maybe trying a little something different on that serve. Might not try that next time. Tavion Reed back to serve and hits it long as well.
Notre Dame 2 points from closing this match out for the night.
23-11. Joseph Dodson with the serve for the Bulldogs. Lee with another solid hit, but picked up by Schwindeman. Set outside to Lee again, off the block, back down, picked up by the libero. Set to the outside. Wagner, here's Neo coming from the back row. Got back to his position, but just wasn't ready for that ball when it came over. He was transitioning back and didn't quite get back there where he needed to be ready for that, to receive that hit.
Match point here for the Notre Dame Bulldogs.
Match point, and not yet. Tried a little too hard that time.
Yeah, he was going for that overhand topspin serve that you see a lot in boys volleyball.
Yep. And he just got under it, and it sailed on him. So Ashton Lee back to serve for the Dragons again. Nice serve. Picked up nicely, though. DeBrock with the tip. Handled by the Dragons, off the block and out of bounds. Neo Nizigwe with the solid hit, off the block and out of bounds. Lee back to serve again. Nice movement on that ball. Hit the rafters, played out of the rafters. Not able to be handled. That's 4 hits. Good try, though.
Yeah.
They got it in 4. Not quite legal, though. Good hustle, though, by the Bulldogs. Lee this time hits it a little bit too strong and out of bounds. That's the match. So the Notre Dame Bulldogs victorious tonight in 3 sets. 3 sets to 0 over the St. Mary's Southside Dragons from St. Louis. They came in, I thought that, from set number 1 to set number 2, I thought we saw a lot of a different team from St. Mary's. That first set, they didn't really, I think they were still on the bus, it seemed like, at least in the beginning. But much better that second set. And then, they didn't give up. They kept playing hard. You got to give them credit for that. They could have given up after that second set, but they came back out, or after that first set, but they came back out and played hard in the second and third set. Notre Dame just had too many weapons for them, I think. Coach, what do you think?
Yeah, and, Notre Dame was just probably a little bit more overall athletic than they were. Had stronger swingers, from all sides of the net. And they just seemed to get the job done. And they had their opponent on the back of their heels playing defense pretty much all evening.
Yeah. Well, we'll be back tomorrow night from Saxony Lutheran High School, just up Interstate 55 from here, just to the east of Jackson. We'll be up there tomorrow night for first a game between these Notre Dame Bulldogs and the Lutheran St. Charles Crusaders. Nope, Cougars. The Lutheran St. Charles Cougars. The Saxony Crusaders will then play the Cougars at 7 o'clock. So we will be we'll have a doubleheader, but there'll be a break in between. So please join us back tomorrow night for both of those matches. We expect the Lutheran St. Charles team to be pretty solid. So we're excited about what tomorrow night brings for these teams. So on behalf of Carl Ritter and our crew that's kept us going tonight, I'm Philip Britt saying thank you for joining us on Aycorp Sports. We'll see you tomorrow night.